Hey folks, welcome back to Honey Money SG. So this time, I'm no longer talking to myself again. I have a guest with me, NsHQKY. He also runs a YouTube channel, and I'll let him share with you guys what does he really do on his channel.
Hi everyone, extremely honored to have the opportunity to be on Chris' channel and extremely excited for this collaboration as well. I do discuss specifically on stocks and I do have an inclination towards the Chinese market. So I do talk a little bit more about Alibaba because it's one of my core positions in my portfolio. I do try to explore from time to time some other companies that provide some sort of interesting risk-reward ratio, especially for those of you who don't know, my middle name is Falling Knife, so you can call me Tay Falling Knife Chee. You can, for those of you who knows why that's my middle name. But yeah, great to have this opportunity.
Okay, so for a start, for people who are really busybody, right? And because this is my channel, I really like to ask NsHQKY. In your channel, what is the video that earns you the most money in terms of ad revenue, affiliates, or sponsorships combined together? We are really interested and curious to know what kind of videos will do well in this YouTube space.
Contrary to popular belief, right, just some context for people that don't really follow me, my audience is actually quite diversified. So it's not concentrated in a certain region. So Singapore makes up around 20%, US makes up around 20%, and then the remaining 50-60%, right, it's like people from Malaysia, Australia, Canada, UK, etc. The cost per mil per clicks, because of the different geography regions, really varies by a lot. So sometimes if you look at my analytics, the graph just goes crazy because sometimes a certain video pandas or a certain video is more clickable in a certain region. Yeah. So if you were to compare just now, you gave me the three options, right? AdSense, affiliates, and sponsorship income. I think for affiliates, I really didn't put too much effort in terms of publicizing or in terms of trying to get people to use my links and stuff because of that sole reason of geography. There is a certain issue, especially when let's say I put a Tiger Brokers or a Momo Brokers link, right? It doesn't work for my US or UK friends over there. So that's the issue, right? My affiliates, it's abysmal. It's close to nothing. I think sponsorships recently, a few actually do reach out. I personally don't, because we can talk about crypto a little bit more, but there is a lot of crypto projects and a lot of crypto platforms that reached out to me. I've not accepted any one of them since because personally I'm not very exposed to that space and I don't want to recommend something or I don't want to put something over, something that I don't use and just recommend because they pay me good money. So a bulk of my revenue and a bulk of my income actually really do come from just YouTube AdSense and my ability to drive views because more views equals to more ads equals to more income. So that's about it.
Okay, so next question. I want to ask NsHQKY. Do you actually get recognized on the streets or in school, right? Or maybe when do you first realize you were famous or slightly more popular?
Right. I until today, I still don't think I'm famous and I don't think I'm popular. I think likewise, like I shared earlier, right? Only 20% of my audience is really from Singapore. So if you just extrapolate 10,000 subscribers, max 2,500 is Singaporeans. So I did recognize once in school, once outside. I think that's about it. After doing YouTube for like a year, I don't think that's something spectacular. But even the friend in school, it's a friend of a friend. So it's technically it's like an acquaintance, but I don't really know him. But he said hi to me. I don't really think I'm popular. I'm still putting my head down, grinding, putting in amount of effort, the same amount of effort to script, to edit, and try to improve my skill. And to try to scale on this platform and really just enjoy the process throughout. I think something is very understated is you need to enjoy the process in order to keep that feel going. And I believe that you have the passion as well in order for you to stay so long on this platform.
Okay, here comes the heavy hitter question, right? What is your current strategy regarding stocks investing or options?
As you can tell, I'm actually quite young. I'm quite a few years younger than Chris himself. So actually my portfolio now is in comparison on the absolute level, it's not humongous. I think it's something that is sizable, but I really invest with the perspective that I want to try to take advantage of opportunities that have very high risk reward ratio, which is why like I alluded earlier, my middle name is Falling Knife. I like to catch stocks that usually have severely impacted or has very bad market sentiment surrounding it, maybe coming down 50, 60 or 70% from its all-time high. Of course, I understand that it's not for everyone. Not everybody likes to see that their portfolio is in the red. But that being said, you have to risk adjust yourself and to really understand what you're investing in. So I'm currently into stock picking. I do run a few analysis on certain companies on my YouTube channel to really look into how I'm able to discern good investments from bad investments. And of course, time is on my side. So I have all the time in the world to wait out to see whether my investment theses do play out or not. So that's just based on, currently I'm doing stocks, I'm actively picking stocks in a huge part of my portfolio. But that being said, I'm not ignorant. I'm not that ignorant to not know that I probably can't win most of the passive investors. So I actually do employ a few DCA strategy. Currently I'm DCing into two ETFs specifically. One is VT, which is Vanguard Total. It kind of mimics the entire global diversified portfolio where even though they still have an overweight over US equities, because by market cap they still hold a huge chunk. It's around 60% US exposure. Then they do expose to Japan, Europe, Korea, China, and all the emerging markets as well. And then the other second one that I'm exposed to is KWEB. So for those of you who don't know, KWEB is literally the Chinese tech fund. Even though I have an Alibaba exposure, I continue dollar cost averaging as well because I don't wish to time the market in that sense. I do have an inclination towards a lot of all these Chinese tech companies. So that's why I just deploy a DCA strategy. So it should be a passive way of investing, and I don't wish to touch it or meddle with that strategy. Side note, I do try to build up my war chest from time to time because of the increasing volatile market, and I'm quote unquote trying to time my entries for some of the positions that I do have now.
Sure. Yep. So from what Shiking has shared, he actually wants to time the market, and I think there's not a problem in it. He's really young, he has a lot of years ahead of him. Of course, that's a different strategy compared to myself, but I won't bash it, right? I think different people really have different approach towards investing, and we should really respect that. But I really want to know, do you do options?
So I think specifically for options, I tried twice. I bought lead calls on Alibaba, but of course I got crushed. It still haven't expired, it's in March 2023. But I realized that options is not really my thing because I don't really monitor the market. So unlike a lot of people that like to track on a daily basis, you don't even check your blood pressure twice a day, but you check your portfolio 100 times a day. I think that's incredible. But I think for myself, it's really a wait and see approach. I buy good companies, I don't overpay for the company, and then I do nothing. So I think I'm really more on the spectrum on patience, right? I think I overhit the limit. So I really don't check my portfolio, and I realize that options isn't really my thing. But personally, I do still deploy certain option strategy like cash secured put. So likewise, I believe many of you who are into personal finance, you guys are very in tune with your own personal cash flow. You know how much you're earning, you have an expected cash flow, etc. So I do the same. I try to predict what's my incoming cash flow, and then I sell lead puts. So in this case, let's say I did publicly disclose as well. I sold $80 lead puts on Alibaba all the way until 2023, January or March, if I'm not wrong. So in this case, I'm really prepared to really just cash out and to put the cash up front and to buy the position at $80. So this is my only strategy right now in my entire portfolio. I just sell long-term put options to generate income and at the same time get a position that I'm comfortable at a discounted price because they pay me to be the writer of the put option.
Alright, Chicken, so you do know that I do have a few videos on Singapore property.
Right.
And I'm really curious, what kind of property are you staying in right now?
Right.
And maybe what are your property plans in the future?
I actually do watch some of the BTO plans because I think it's very interesting to really be kept in tune with the Singapore property markets. And I believe for a lot of the Singapore viewers out there, some of you might have plans to settle down to BTO, etc. So currently, I do stay in a public property. I'm staying with my parents, of course. I'm currently in a 5-room flat somewhere in Punggol. So that's where I'm currently residing in. In terms of my plans, I don't really have any plans because I open casting call. I'm currently not attached. So if anyone is interested, please drop me an email. On a more serious note, I actually do follow a few YouTube channels. I'm not too sure whether you know Property Lim Brothers.
I do.
I think their presentation skill is top notch, and they always present it in such a likable, concise manner, and they really look into some of the pricing analysis, some of the trifecta. They always like to talk about the trifecta, and it really builds that foundational understanding for me. So in future, if I'm interested, even public, whether I want to BTO or even private property, it gives me that foundational understanding in what to look out for, how to source for better properties. And for someone that is relatively younger, it sets as a good foundation to look into how to diversify your portfolio as well. Because I believe in Singapore, everybody is going to have house ownership. I think that's a bread and butter for most of our portfolio specifically. So that's my current understanding of the entire view of property.
Okay, Chiking, so I'm really interested to know, do you really invest in crypto, or what are your options regarding crypto? Do you not touch it, or do you think what's your recommendation towards people who are interested in crypto?
Right. I think contrary to popular belief, right, people always believe that, the younger folks, they're always into crypto, they're the nerds of crypto, and then they know everything about crypto, and then the older folks think that everything is a Ponzi scheme. I think personally for me, I tend to only invest in things that I really believe in and I have a solid grasp in. So fundamentally, I do understand the merits of crypto because I personally am studying in finance. So I do get to talk to a lot of crypto experts in their own domains and the issues and the problems that they wish to overcome in traditional finance. So I do believe that there is definitely a space of crypto and decentralized finance and all the Web3 stuff like that in the coming decade or so. But that being said, because personally on a personal capacity, I don't invest in things that I don't really understand and have a good grasp in. So currently I don't have any exposure in crypto. I'm still learning. I'm talking to a lot of friends that have a lot of knowledge in it, but usually I'm the one asking the questions and they're the one providing me with the answers. So that being said, of course, for quote-unquote recommendations, I think you or even a lot of creators out there that provide very solid advice. Limiting your capacity or limiting the exposure maybe to 5-10%, even just as a hedge to USD or even as a hedge to a lot of your other investments out there. I think it's not necessarily bad advice. It's good to have a little bit of exposure, at least next time in the run-up. You have some sort of hedging and how you essentially construct an entire diversified portfolio.
Okay, Shiking, so we know you are really young, right?
Right.
So I really want to ask you, maybe even if you do not have really much experience on this, what is your approach towards CPF regarding the strategies, the tax planning and the retirement funds, all that stuff? So share with our audience what you really think about the CPF.
I actually learned a lot about CPF from you actually. I think you're one of the pioneer channels that I follow. I think the other one is 1M65. I think Mr. Lu, he also provides a lot of insightful thoughts and comments where he invites experts and he shares his opinions about CPF. Looking back, I think I actually do regret quite a little about putting so much money into equities as well, because there is a 5% risk-free here. A lot of you who are CPF addicts, right, you know that there is an additional 1% in your first 60,000. So I don't have that 60,000 because I'm a fresh grad. Or sorry, I haven't even graduated from university yet. So I haven't even hold a full-time job yet. In this case, I do intend to look into how I can maximize that first 60,000 and to really, this risk-free 3.5% and 6% is gift from heavens. So I intend to maximize it moving forward, especially when I do have a more active and more stronger income that's coming in. And also, I'm not forgetting my full-time job in this case, which is being a YouTuber and sharing insights and some of the fundamental analysis on companies. So I still trying to strike a balance and looking towards how I can maximize the CPF. And more importantly, I also had a very interesting conversation with my dad. I was poking him, hey, why you never help me contribute to my CPF early on? You know, compounding interest when we start from early on, it's incredible. I think at 20, currently I'm 23, turning 24. If my dad really did contribute, then I'll be probably I don't know, 50,000, 100,000 in my CPF today. But that being said, of course, you want to be independent. Don't everything rely on your parents. But that was really just in the name of laughter, and I was just poking my dad. And my dad told me he don't even know that he can contribute to my CPF. So the role of people like Chris, like Mr. Lu, 1M65, it's very critical because it improves our financial literacy. And even though we like to feel that a lot of people are concerned about money, but it's simply not true. I think it's quite evident in our education system and speaking to our friends as well. Not everyone is a finance geek and a finance nerd and wants to always try to maximize for retirement and stuff like that. So I really appreciate your work and what kind of value and content you bring to the entire space itself.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, so last question for Chiking. I really want to ask you, are you pursuing the financial independence retire early movement? And if you are, what are your current strategies or maybe your future strategies regarding this movement?
Actually, I'm quite inspired by a few of the bigger creators out there. I think one of the biggest finance creator is Graham Stephan. So he's always the type that say, don't buy Starbucks, always don't commit to lifestyle inflation, and then try to lower your expenses, increase your earning power, etc. etc. In essence, I was brainwashed by a lot of you, a lot of all the personal finance creators. And then I also actively try to not go too much. Don't go out too much. Don't always eat Hai Di Lao. If there is a better alternative, you can. If there's a cheaper alternative like Shi Li Fang, please go to Shi Li Fang other than Hai Di Lao. But that being said, I think as a plan and as a strategy, I haven't really opened into my Excel. I did some rough calculations, so I know how much I'm earning from different sources. What is my projected income that it's going to come, because you look at surveys and then the average NTU, NUS, SMU grad, what are they going to get? So I'm just going to do a very conservative estimate. I think having a goal of trying to save 50% of your income would be the first cut. I want to have the ability and have that conviction and discipline to really save 50% of my income, and then work towards, firstly, of course, to top up my CPF for the first 60,000 to take advantage of that 1%, and then more importantly, to look into how I can increase my investment returns, both passively and also actively. So passively, I'm still going to contribute monthly, month in, month out, to really maintain that fundamental idea of consolidating a portfolio, and then on top of that, try to quote-unquote outperform and maybe time the market, which might not be the best advice, but it's something that I really enjoy. I enjoy looking into companies. I enjoy looking at business models and analyzing companies, and at the same time, I can make videos and entertain people, and also try to attract people that are like-minded. So that's my current strategy. And in terms of a monetary dollar value on what I'm trying to achieve, I haven't really put X dollar by X each, unlike yourself. On a cost basis, I have around 40 to 50,000 Sing dollars. Of course, I want to try my best to try to bump it up. Maybe now I'm 24. By 25, if I can hit 100,000, that'll be great. Then maybe by 30 years old, I'm able to hit 500,000. I think that's great. I think that's the current trajectory. Assuming that I have no wife, I'm not going to have a BTO and stuff like that. So a lot of money is still congregated on my end. It's good to have a plan because, like they say, as cliche as it sounds, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? But that being said, I know that because we are in a very young age, there are too much assumptions when I make this kind of projections. And I know that I want to remain flexible and remain nimble in terms of my projection. So I'm open to seeing what are my different options, and essentially the most cliche one is try to cut down expenses, don't go into lifestyle inflation, and save as much as you can, and don't put it in a bank. If you can, just invest into a broad-based S&P 500. It's also better than putting it into a bank. So that's just my general take on my plans and how I want to tackle the game of life.
So really, thank you, Chiking, for sharing this very valuable insight, right? I have not interviewed anyone as young as him. He's a Gen Z person, you know?
Right.
So a lot of people, you all may be thinking, you're really young. Why should you all really think about personal finance? So here it is, Chiking. He provided his insights, and I felt that it's very valuable for sharing as well for people not only at my age group or even the seniors, right? People in their 20s should also start looking into their personal finance where possible.
Right.
So thank you, Chiking, for coming to my channel, and I hope to see you all on the next show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.